Financial sovereignty, not the UCC SBC filing, the hidden method. One. The setup. Imagine a group of researchers huddled around documents thicker than a Sunday paper, convinced they've found the legal exit ramp from the financial matrix. The topic is the non-UCC filing, a hidden doorway to financial sovereignty. They argue that every citizen unknowingly signed into a commercial system at birth through certificates and licenses. The goal? Reverse engineer the debt. So what does that actually mean? It means they see themselves not as debtors but as creditors representing hidden trusts linked to their birth certificates. The system, they argue, profits from child labor contracts disguised as government forms. If this sounds complicated, it's because it is, and intentionally so. Footnote. This section outlines how participants viewed standard identification documents as financial instruments and sought to reclaim control over them. 2. From Chapter 15 to Chapter 7. At first, the mission revolved around Chapter 15 bankruptcy, a mechanism meant for cross-border cases. The term foreign debtor sparked curiosity. If their documents were issued under the District of Columbia, didn't that make them foreign to the states? Soon, they reasoned, their own birth certificates and IDs became the foreign entities in question. So what does that actually mean? They believed they could act as foreign representatives of these debtors, filing bankruptcy against their paper selves. Eventually, the focus shifted to Chapter 7, liquidation. Instead of juggling multiple jurisdictions, the plan became simple. Dissolve the artificial entity entirely and reclaim the assets. Footnote. This section explains the transition from international bankruptcy concepts, Chapter 15, to domestic liquidation, Chapter 7, as a metaphor for personal financial emancipation. 3. The non-UCC revelation. Here's where things got interesting, and a little mystical. Someone noticed that on earlier filings, no one had checked the box marked non-UCC. According to the theory, that single checkbox was the difference between being in commerce and stepping outside it. So what does that actually mean? It means they treated the non-UCC filing as a private, invisible declaration of sovereignty, unrecorded, unseen, and beyond government oversight. You file it, not to the Secretary of State, but quietly at the county or in your personal archive. In short, it's a filing that tells the system you're done playing. Footnote. This section explores the belief that non-UCC filings separate individuals from the commercial jurisdiction of traditional UCC systems. 4. The logic of the claim. They framed the problem like this: if the state created a financial twin at birth, then that twin owes you for decades of unpaid labor. Every signature, they said, renewed a hidden child labor bond. The fix? File a claim for full value against the debtor entity. So what does that actually mean? It means they saw themselves as creditors to their legal names, filing liens to balance the cosmic books. In their mind, they were the parent reclaiming child wages from a system that had been babysitting for free. It's a strange mix of law, equity, and Old Testament accounting. Footnote. This section highlights how participants interpreted unpaid life labor as an enforceable financial claim through symbolic lien filings. 5. The exit plan. The grand finale? Surrender all state-issued documents, birth certificates, licenses, military records, even social security cards. Once done, the person would no longer exist in the commercial system and instead operate directly through the U.S. Treasury. One participant claimed someone had already succeeded and was receiving a debit card loaded with millions. Everyone leaned in. So what does that actually mean? It means they were trying to break out of the system using its own rules, turning bureaucracy into a form of personal alchemy. Their hope was to dissolve the artificial self and step into financial freedom. Footnote. This section summarizes the intended outcome of the non-UCC process: complete detachment from commercial jurisdiction and direct treasury recognition. 6. The paradox of power. Here's the funny part. These filings are all based on the same legal system they're trying to escape. The group wanted freedom through forms, liberation through paperwork. It's like trying to sneak out of a maze by drawing a new door on the wall. But behind the humor lies something real, a deep desire for autonomy, privacy, and justice in a system that feels rigged. So what does that actually mean? It means that even when people distrust the law, they still reach for it, hoping to find a loophole wide enough for the human spirit to walk through. Footnote. This section underscores the irony of seeking independence from the state using the very legal mechanisms created by it.